This meeting is being recorded.
Well, everything looks peaceful down at the harbor as Bob and I wander by.
It's pretty nice. The staff are bored though. We keep getting offers for volunteers to come in, but our staff are so they keep busy and they do all of the public health work, but just keeping clean and tidy and sanitized. But yeah, having volunteers inside the space when the staff are already underwhelmed is a bit, it's a bit tricky. But we're looking for opportunities where we can engage people as we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to get started. Thank you for joining us. So John's new to using Zoom, so we'll be patient. We're videoing from within the common space of the Portsmouth Olympic Harbor pilot project for Sleeping Cabins pilot project. We've been here now 2 weeks and have settled in pretty nicely. We've got the space set up. We've got the space set up quite comfortably. John has agreed to join us to allow people to ask questions about what it's like to live in the cabin community. Maybe ask questions about transitioning, where he was living before and why he chose to live here. Anything at all that you might have questions about. And we're just going to be mindful of residents. We do have some residents who don't want to be on camera, but we're willing to take you for a little tour if people would like, so you can see inside the space as well.
My place is not as tight as it should be because this is just a spur of a moment kind of thing. So if I do bring you in, don't mind the mess. There's no pipes or anything with it around. Might be some skimpy underwears.
Do you think, do we want to start with a tour? I'm still admitting people into the chat. So if it was tricky to get in, it might take a while.
If you want to make me co-host, I'll help people come in. So
I tried to make you a co-host, but it only gave me option to hand over all the controls to you, which I'm okay with. I'm all right with that. Yeah, it only allows hosts and not co-hosts. But I don't mind if you want to do that.
Sure, that's fine.
When you purchase a machine from Stitch, it comes with never-ending license.
And then just before we end, if you can make me host again so I can capture the recording.
I don't mind people asking questions now if they want, and just people that keep on coming in. If you want to ask questions as well, I'm sure to answer. I can answer.
All right. So do we want to start? We can start with a tour and then we'll walk around with my laptop. Do you want to give it a tour?
Sure.
Sure. I'm just watching my power levels. So just keep in mind the camera.
Want me to?
Yeah, you do it. The camera is here.
Yeah.
So you'll have.
So I'll just turn it around and. Okay, so this is our main living room. It's a hangout area. Pretty comfortable setup, I'd say. Like books, magazines, coloring pencils, markers. We got a couple of murals there if you know, something to take her around with. Kind of people that are enjoying interact with each other. Bathrooms, shower stalls. Very you know, it's better than living in the bush. Irregular bathrooms. Everybody seems to, we all participate in vacuuming because of the sand and salt that is actually put down on the ground here. So everybody, I mean everyone here pitches in. But well, this is a homey feeling, wouldn't you say? Very homey. We get to help ourselves, like you said, like this is all this is all donations. There's plenty enough food for us 10 of us people. Like we can help ourselves at any time. Anytime. Coffee area, toaster, everything. Like we can't complain. There's our own little bin. So if we want something personal, our own utensils, you say, snacks or whatever that we have, you know. So they're all numbered or so, and a little mascot. Don't go outside. I don't want to take the computer out in this weather, but this is our general setup. I don't know if you want me to go out in the snow.
It's okay, 'cause we're gonna run out of time.
Yeah, it's okay for now.
It's good.
Okay.
You can go in quickly.
Okay, real quick. All right. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, looks
Oh,
cold.
that's windy. It's windy. Right down by the water, right? So it is 10 degrees colder than the land. What? General setup. Bed. We it's I don't know, everybody's kind of like wondering about space, but I got a couple of totes myself and hangers and but it's our living ours and it's really comfortable. It's homey. Just gotta make sure your door's locked all the time. That's us. Picnic area. We do have a barbecue, and that's what somebody here had. So. Oh, that's a general tour. Oh, your screen's going buggy, I think. No, we probably passed that.
So I think we can just open it up to questions if people have questions for John about being in the space.
Thanks for sharing with us, John, and showing us the inside as well as the cabin. I was really curious to see about the cabin. I guess I have a couple of questions. One is, you mentioned how cold it is and how windy it is. How warm are their cabins? Are they?
As warm as you want them to be.
Right.
Like I got numerous amounts of blankets and pillows for myself, but yeah, no, the first night was pretty hot. I'd open the window, but I'm used to sleeping outside. If it wasn't for the storm, it's capacity of snow that we got. Yeah, I wouldn't be outside. I'm used to it. Like there's a lot of people, they are used to it. Like, they're just talking around here. They miss having a fire. I don't like it's the people thing, right? A lot of people here just want to be by themselves and the animosity, the comforts of their own, and they're used to it. Being this is it's a change, but I mean, I'm not a homeless person. Like I was, I've been on the street for about 7 months, but I'm used to amenities, a stove and shower. I'm used to that, but I'm very capable of surviving on my own. So, all in all, it's like those rooms they're built tough. They have the heat, electricity. We got USB ports. We got Wi-Fi. We got the comforts of our own. Like if we wanted to go back into our cabins and watch TV or cell phones, we got YouTube. So we can separate ourselves from everybody else, or you can come in and interact, right? Well, yeah. So,
Did you know many of the people there, your neighbors before you arrived there? Or?
So I was introduced to a couple of them. I met them, like I don't like know of them, hang around with them. I've seen them around town. But yeah, we know each other like in spite, right? Like it's faces and I like one I know, like just to say, hey, how you doing? Nudge. that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It is very unique in itself, you know, to know all these backgrounds. Because a lot of them do have, I would say, very interesting, right? We all have past.
Mhm.
I'm the general guy that you can come to and talk to, and you know, not the mediator, I say, just social. I get along with a lot. I'm a happy guy. Despite the fact that, you know, we're all homeless, we're all seeming to be in a glump here, right? Like we're all happy because we're homeless. Why are we? I know my reason. I know a reason. And if you'd like to ask, I don't want to explain it, but I mean, others, but we decided to come this way because certain reasons. His father dies. I won't matter, but anyways, next question.
Thanks, John.
No problem, I'll just blabber on.
I've got a question.
Sure.
Is a big part of why this is a good idea that you've got the communal space? Like
Big part,
compared to an apartment where you would be on your own,
yes.
whereas this, you've got the hut plus the communal space. Is that like better, worse?
You know what's better is the rent free. The rent free for 3 months for me. I'm striving. I'm like, this gives me time to go out look for a job, right? I'd be fixing my fort right now, and it'd probably be nonstop because there's always wind variables, rain, snow, all that kind of stuff, right? And I have to get heat, blah blah blah.
So
This
if
gives
you
me
were-
the opportunity to, reestablish myself in a community.
So if you were rent free in an apartment versus rent free in a
Right.
space with a community,
So rent free in an apartment, and then in this little community, I would prefer this community, that's for sure. My next door neighbor in an apartment is like right here, right beside me, like knock, knock, knock. I don't, no, it's like invading people's privacy, I'd say. You get to hear the neighbor doing something. Here you go.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
other questions?
Ask away.
How do you organize cooking, or do you just do your own thing?
So yeah, usually we have donations and that's already pre-made for the chili, numerous amounts of things, etc. But all in all, like all the food that you see, you can help yourself to. So if somebody wants to make something, you know, by themselves, or more, they do it. Or if they want to make a meal for like all of us or numerous amounts of it, they're welcome to do it. It's a hands-free zone, but hopefully you know how to cook and not burn.
So it's been ad hoc so far in terms of organizing meals. So people will come in and just make their own meals when they're hungry. We do have some donated meals, like tonight, a neighbor donated chili, which was great. And then sometimes we make group meals. We happen to have an advantage where we have a Red Seal chef on our staff, which is a bit spoiling. But we try to make sure that when there are group meals being made, so like John and I made a strata the other day.
That's good.
And we try to make sure that if there's a group meal being made, it's a resident who's driving the cooking, and then we're just here, so staff are here to support.
Yeah, thank you. That's great.
Other questions?
Not a question, Crystal, but I will say that I took in a couple of cookbooks yesterday, and one was a microwave cookbook. And I also was talking to the musical lending library over at TET. And I mentioned, you know, maybe they might like to lend you a keyboard. You never know what musical talents exist. And I know there's an extremely famous
Ah, as you say, the musical, everybody here seems to be a singer.
There is a famous musical choir composed of the homeless in Sydney.
Oh, see, no,
nice.
no, these guys are, no, they wouldn't be into
Oh,
that.
no, I'm not thinking of anything. I thought, if you were interested in having an instrument there, I think the musical library is open to letting you have a keyboard or maybe a couple of ukes.
Oh,
Or
nice.
whatever. But you'd have to find out whether there's anybody interested, Crystal. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll do a survey and check it. The Lending Library is a great asset in Kingston, and we should definitely take advantage of it.
Yep.
One of the nice things about the space, being in this particular space, because it's away from, even though we do have neighbors on the other side of the building, but it's a bit away from everybody else. In the middle of the night, there's often music playing or people are dancing in the kitchen. I usually do the night shift, and yeah, I did that. I chose that because then I thought I could get administration done for the organization. But really, it means I listen to a lot of music.
Yeah,
But it's been there's always music on inside the common space.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, and you know, the free roaming, like you get to like this is our a common area, right? It's our living area. It's all of our living area. I don't think you can find somebody to like not do anything they want to do. Like if you're homeless, or you know what I mean, like it's taking away your freedom. Like it's taking away your rights. You know, like I have a right to make a meal anytime I want. When I'm out with tent or outside, I make something when I want to. Finding somebody not to, and you can just see that the food's there. Yeah,
here you can as well.
yes, most definitely. You help yourself any time of the day. So,
Which is
yeah,
different.
from other, for another perspective, like from the other shelters are here in Kingston, they have timing. They have times to eat. Okay, breakfast from here to here. If you don't in between those times, you're not getting nothing for the whole day. Nothing. They don't have sandwiches, pre-packed sandwiches or anything. They give you. That's not right. You're gonna starve. No. Here, there's food. Help yourself. Anytime you're hungry, like everybody's got their own time. Like, I'm not hungry right now, but about 2 hours from now, I might be hungry. In what? 2 hours. 9 o'clock. Yeah. You know, so 9 o'clock, I want to eat.
Other questions?
Yeah, hi, John and Crystal, it's
Hi.
Tara. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to ask questions and to see the place. You mentioned, John, that the rent is free for 3 months, and then what?
So this is a lot. So I'm a heavy equipment operator by trade. I have tickets certified. I'm going for that, and which is good that because I just had an interview yesterday. I'm crossing my fingers. I hope to hear something tomorrow, but I have another lead too. So I'm going for the job first. I'm gonna take it one day at a time, right? But my first goal is to get that job, get my money saved, move. That's it. Like I don't know what their plans are. A lot of them are thinking they're gonna go back home. We're gonna wait it out until spring hits and then do their thing all over again because it's the freedom thing, right? Every one of these people, they enjoy this place.
So Tara, because this is a pilot project, it's actually a requirement of the city of Kingston, the city of Kingston put that we can't charge rent while we're here. But our intention, if we do get a long-term space, is to charge the housing allowance that normally comes with OW or ODSP. So it would be $390 or $490. But unless we have a permanent location, it's just not a factor. And I think that my understanding from the city is we're not charging rent because the city isn't actually charging us rent either. So it's just fair to the residents that if we're not paying as well.
Okay, so the pilot project lasts only 3 months?
It's until April 30th.
I see, okay.
Which is a short, you know, like it doesn't really give it like all of it is just right now figuring each other out. Like we're actually, you know, like it's a tug of war. Like you got to get used to these people being with you and then focus on what you have to do. Like I know I got to do something, you know,
So we do hope to have housing success as well. People are living in the cabins, and today we actually are our first participant. Well, a resident signed his lease today, so he'll be moving into permanent housing on Tuesday, which
I
is
thought
pretty
I'd be the first
exciting.
one.
Yeah, we thought John would be the first one out, but it was somebody else.
Thank
But
you.
it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to reside on OW right now because I don't have a job, but once I have a job, I'm back to normal. Right? It's just what happened with me is a relationship problem, and I couldn't live with her and save money at the same time. So I opted out to be homeless. I did. I had the money. I had just a little money just to get myself a tent, some tarps, and all the blankets that I have, and I had a chainsaw and my tools, and I brought it all with me, and it's still all with me. So, yeah, it wasn't underneath lock and key when I was in Bush, and now she is under lock and key. That's just the thing, right?
Other questions?
Good side of the sea.
This is an easy audience.
Well, I have one. John, how are the racks holding up?
The what?
The racks,
The hooks.
Oh,
they look as if they're still
hey,
stuck there.
did you see all my jackets and everything hanging on?
I did, just as you
Mine,
planned,
those overalls, they were weighing about 100 pounds last night, all the rain that we had.
right?
Oh, there's a big puddle out there, and every time a car goes by, Dave, it just flashes my freaking jacket. It's a tidal wave happening.
We had a little bit of a Noah's Ark situation this morning
Yeah.
with all the water, so we had to
Yeah.
get the plow guys to help us out, pushing the water down the street a bit to make sure that the cabins didn't flood or float away. I want to say as well, I know there's some neighbors that are on the call, but the support that we've gotten from the neighborhood has been absolutely amazing, just absolutely amazing. And we've had a constant stream of people visiting and people bringing food and or just necessities. People will come in and ask what we need, and then they show up later with it, which it's been really heartening having such acceptance and welcoming from the community. It was almost overwhelming at the beginning because the residents were getting so many welcome packages. They were a bit,
Overwhelmed.
they're not used, yeah, we're all not used to that kind of response. And I think it's truly made a difference setting the tone for the community and making sure people who are living here understand that they're welcomed and embraced.
Usually people shy away from us, right? You see us somewhere else, you shy away from us. Here, like, I don't know, we're on the spotlight right now, I guess, but people want to, you gotta figure out who we are. Come on down, I'll talk to you. Don't be shy. I'm not shy. So, I mean, there is real good people here, real good people. You know, they're easy to talk to. Some of them are. But yeah.
Other questions?
So, yeah, just a quick one. Before the cabins were put in place with this location, a lot of people were worried about the wind, and I walk around there a lot too, and it is a windy location. Do you find the positioning of the cabins are working because they're actually facing in, so that would help with the wind, or do you still really feel like is that a?
You feel the wind inside the cabins?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
The cabins are special builds. I know we've heard some comments about, how they could be made cheaper, but it's actually because they're made of a special. Do you want to go grab those gloves? They're by the door or the front door.
Okay.
John's going to grab a sample of what the cabins are made of, but it's a rigid insulation with fiberglass on both sides, so they're really quite sturdy and well sealed, which is why. So our biggest complaint after the first day of people in the cabins was that they're too hot. And so I was like, okay, that's not so bad. So with the heater, they have a mini fridge in their cabins as well. The mini fridge is really enough, generates enough heat for people to be able to stay warm. So often, okay, I'm not sure. That's okay. I'm not sure where our samples have gone to.
I'm not sure.
But just that bar for just enough to keep people warm. But I've been inside when it's been windy and I haven't felt the wind at all inside the cabin. But one of the complaints we get a lot is the sound of the shrouds from the boats,
Oh, yeah.
which
You
I
can hear
love.
that up the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a sailor, I love that sound, but if you're not used to it,
It does take a little, right? But it's like big wind chimes. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. But so the construction material also, because one concern too was the cost, general cost. But it sounds like with the construction material that they'll last a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's worth the investment.
Yes.
yeah, for sure. And I did, when the manufacturer first approached us, I'm a skeptic. So when the manufacturer first approached us and gave us a sample of what their cabins are made from, I took a blowtorch to it because I didn't believe it was, they said it was fireproof. And so I put a blowtorch to it and it didn't catch fire. And that's one of the appeals of having these kind of cabins, but also having a fiberglass shell on the inside and the outside means kind of standard wear and tear and bumps and bruises. If you hit the wall here, like, accident or furniture or whatever, you're not going to damage it. Whereas drywall, you'll get bumps and bruises, right? So this in terms of long-term longevity, this kind of setup will work a bit better. And the cost, when we worked out, we had priced a number of different options before going with the EHT cabins, and it actually works out when you factor in labor. If you made a homemade shed in the backyard, like we had that kind of approach as well and plans for that, the cost with labor is about the same as what we paid for the cabins that we have now. So it was one of the decision-making pieces was, if we build 2x4 construction and pay tradespeople so we can get them done fast, or just have them pre-manufactured, this worked out to be faster and about the same cost.
There's people here that do have trades, such as myself. There's another fella here right now that he's pretty handy with his hands as well. And I mean, if there's participation from residents themselves, if they want to help in building more, that I'm sure that, there's a lot of people here, homeless people that support,
Yeah, that was our original plan, was to have a model where the people who might live in the cabins would work with people like tradespeople to help build the cabins as well. But because just the way it worked out in the city of Kingston wanted to do the pilot project to be able to move faster, we did the manufacturer. But EHT is actually, they've been amazing to work with, and they are open to having a setup where we just receive the walls and then we work together to put them together. So long-term, that might be what we see, something more like that.
And I think the fact that they were built with windows on both sides, because heat is important right now, but in the summer, it's going to be a problem no matter where they are. So having that ventilation will be great. And they've been used in the Arctic extensively.
That's right. Yeah.
So they've got a history.
Yes.
See, I do have a fan myself. I like to regulate. Like I have to have some kind of moving air in it. I have windows cracked. I mean, I do have, it has to be somewhat kind of fresh air going through there. The air becomes stagnant, right? And in a closed area.
There is an air exchanger.
The air exchanger, right? That's just recycling air.
Yeah.
Fresh air, anyways. That's
Yeah, these particular models are used in the Arctic for mining communities for workers to live in. I'm being told my internet is unstable. So as you're walking by, if you see above the cabins, there's kind of posts at each corner. That was designed to be able to lift the cabins if we needed to with a boom truck. But in Arctic communities, they use them to lift. Those same fittings are used to attach to helicopters so that they can fly them into. They're so light. These are only we have wood siding to make it a little homier, but without the wood siding, they're only 1,200 pounds. So they're quite light.
Helicopter to fly these out on me?
Just you.
Yeah, please. Are they sinkable?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Should we try?
Floatable?
Just wondering if we should try floating.
Floating on the ice
Because
here.
the floor is made of the same material as the roof, so
Ice
it
shacks.
should actually, because the way they're sealed, I think if it was put in water, it should float.
You could put these things on the ice, we could use my ice shack too, Dave. Yes, yeah, I myself, and I believe other people here though, the concept of having your own little living area instead of in an apartment building is a lot better. You get your own space, right? You're not like right beside your next door neighbor. Going to a sister hall like in and out, I think it brings on a little interaction, right? Like everybody, you know, like,
Yeah, the way the cabins are set up, people can come and go as they please. There's no curfew here. But it also means that you're not interrupting somebody. If one person is sleeping and you want to come and go in the middle of the night, or you want to sleep in the middle of the day, there's no interruption. And whereas if you're in a contained or doors in community, like often supportive housing is built with a main door and then you come into it and then you go to your space, that can be disruptive to other
like an
people.
institution kind of thing. Yeah, no, and then you're not. See, you get to separate yourself too. If somebody's in an ugly and it's just, like you have your choice. Either you want to confront it and sorry, you're all some stupid, or go to your room. You have a choice, right? It's not like you're stuck with that person right beside you all day. You have a choice to leave. So,
Also, like Liz asked, the common space is also probably quite nice to have have a space to be together.
yeah, but, one of the residents here, he was living, if I don't know, he was living in a storage unit. And he had all of his furniture in these storage units. He brought the TV, the big screen TV. He bought the stereo, which is used, and we got all the movies here.
So-
Yeah.
We've been really fortunate in terms of furnishing our common space, because one of our residents had his household in 2 storage lockers, and he was living in the storage locker when we met him. So he's been funding his place here by contributing his own personal items to let us borrow while we're here, so that we can make it really comfortable. So it's been a nice benefit. Everybody here is looking for kind of ways to contribute. Often when I start my shift, my chores are already done. So it's pretty nice. Then I can just focus on the administration stuff. But like John spends, he's kind of taken over the outside maintenance. So he shovels and puts the deicer down, and that's kind of been his role. Other people like spending time in the kitchen. Some people just come in and clean for us. And this particular person with the storage lockers, his contribution is to procure items through a storage locker, and he has a good relationship with Habitat for Humanity, so they've been helping us out as well. But everybody's finding their place, and it's nice to see. We're surprised at how quickly people became part of the community and found spaces. I was a bit worried in some of the resident selection and the initial selection, a number of people were living on their own in different places throughout the city. So we had the gentleman in the storage locker. John was in his camp, and we had 2 people who were living in their vehicles. Because they were by themselves, we weren't sure that they would, blend into the community and interact with other people as well as they have. And it's really been nice watching people who haven't had any sense of community at all, because they've been by themselves, really become part of a community. It's been nice.
And I do miss my camp. I do. It's my serenity. I don't know. I have my own fire pit. It's a climate to my own space, right? But I check on it frequently. I check on it at least once a week to see if somebody's back in there, but nobody's touched it, so I'm all right.
One of the comforts that people have indicated they're missing is having a fire pit, because they're used to it's an area for socialization and just comfort. So we did reach out to the police chief or the fire chief, sorry, and we did get permission to have a fire pit, but a propane one, so it'll be nicely contained, and it won't be messy. And we're meeting all the regulations. We don't have it yet, but it's in order to give people that same sense of that they had in their camps.
Saying that nobody lives under key and lock. Key. It's just kind of a hard thing. I like to keep this thing in your pocket, because a lot of people around here don't use this.
Right. He's just saying, John's just saying, getting used to having a key is.
I've already lost it. This is my second one.
So we have a rule that if you lose your key, it's $5. or you have to do chores for us. So
I think that's why
John's
everybody's doing
keeping
chores so
busy.
far. How long do I have to do the chore for?
Doesn't have the number of your cabin in it though, does it? You might
It
find
does.
what
It
else
does,
is
yeah.
in there.
Number
Well, you
10.
can't read his.
Hopefully nobody found your other key.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's gone.
Most of the time, the lost key is actually inside the cabin and we get the other one back.
Yeah.
Just getting used to locking doors, and when like you close the door to go to the shower and then forget you're supposed to have your key with you as well.
How many cabins are there? I haven't really had a good look yet, but I saw some of the cabins. It was a very miserable cold day when I was there. But how many people are housed at the moment?
We have 10 cabins, 10 cabins and 10
10.
people. We don't have any, it's all single people right now. We don't have any couples. But even, our policy is if there, we still, with the City of Kingston agreement, we have 10 cabins and 10 people. If we have a couple, both people in the partnership have to have their own assigned cabin. So we just haven't become in that position yet.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have another question, Crystal. When the pilot project is over, April the 30th, what happens to the cabins and what happens to the people?
So we hope we'll have a permanent location. The City of Kingston has told us that they have some conversations around a permanent location, but I'm not aware of where they are. We've also been approached by a private landowner, and so we're working through what that would look like. So we're hoping we move to a permanent location. We're also hoping that we'll have success for people while they're living here, and that we'll end up with a number of people housed during the pilot project. And jobs as well. Like John is highly likely to end up with a job. He just needed some stability to be.
There's counseling too. There's a lot of people here that, they feel maybe I need to talk, right? Like, especially their emotions to somebody else is probably a big thing. What the person that they have to trust in, right? Like, I don't know. I'm a social bug, and these people get along with me. I love listening to stories and talking and experience what they have to do. So, people that just want to come here and have an open ear, and you never know, you might make a friend or two.
One of the things we are offering is the training that our staff go through in terms of trauma-informed care. The residents also can access that training, and we're encouraging any of the residents to also do any of our other training. So if people need WMIS or workplace health and safety, first aid. So the week of February 14th, we have 2 first aid sessions running, and both staff and people who are living here have the opportunity to take part in those courses. So we're hoping that because we know how difficult it is to attain housing and find affordable housing. So part of our goal of the program is that even if we don't find them housing, we get them in a better position for employment by going through this training.
Volunteer firefighter.
Let's not have that here. But so we've already started our trauma care training, and Roger Romero from KCA, the Kingston Community Health Centers, has already been in to start our trauma programming for people with both our staff. We're doing co-learning, so our staff and our residents are learning at the same time, just about how trauma can impact your brain and how it impacts your decision making, and understanding that sometimes behaviors are really a communication tool, and understanding what's driving the behaviors is an important part to move forward. So hopefully we have people in a better position at the end. If we get to the point where there's no permanent location, then hopefully people are in a better position when they go back to where they've been, and we'll definitely, it would be difficult.
That's gonna be hard.
it was a difficult transition last year when we ran the motel program. So we ran a similar initiative for motels with 10 people. And at the end of it, people had to go back to kind of standard congregate living, or back, some went back to the streets and back to the woods. And it was a really hard transition.
I think what,
So I'm hoping.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, I think 80% of those people went back on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we'll have some more success having this kind of arrangement to get people housed.
Hope so too. Is it your hope to keep all the cabins together as a little community, or is it possible that people would split up and have a location individually?
We want,
I don't know, like part of this program is having the community and building community. So there is a gentleman that has a cabin, the same manufacturer is in a backyard on Montreal Street. But he has said it's a bit isolating because he's by himself. So we would prefer to have clusters of cabins together. When we originally approached the city of Kingston, we'd asked for 80 cabins and clustered across 4 or 5 locations. So they're small groups together. And that way we could theme the clusters as well, because what we do know is there's a lot of people who would like sobriety, and when they're living right where the temptations are, it's really difficult to find that success. So we it's a second. And so you know, I think we'd be great if we had clusters where some were focused in certain areas, like having a cluster that was all for women, having a cluster that actually we don't have a requirement of abstinence in this program. So people, if they do, they are able to use substances and safely. But some people would like to be in a space where there's no substances so that they can find their own sobriety. So it'd be nice if we had a number of clusters where we could theme them a bit more.
and in that regards, like, I mean, like if you're living down at the hub, such as, you know, that is a cluster. Like it's there, it's all there. People, I don't know, as residents, there's like over 50 people that, you know, and if you're to have groups of 10 spotted all over Kingston with the people, the right staff, they're trained for first aid and everything, because there is a lot, I mean, overdosing and there's people that use or people that don't use, but this is where it gets to like separate that, not have it all in one spot. I believe that would be much better. I mean, like you're and give these, you know, like we're open, we're people too. We have feelings. There's feelings there. Like you wouldn't know if I was to walk down the street now. You wouldn't know if I was homeless or not unless I told you. So, you know, to judge a book by its cover. Oh,
Thanks for those answers. That's great.
that's my honest opinion.
Is there other questions?
I have a question.
Hey, Valerie.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
So my question is I read on the WIG Standard that there was a lady from Gananoque that donated $100,000 for cabins. My understanding was the city of Kingston already received a donation of 150 cabins, which paid for 8 of the cabins. Sorry, 150,000, which paid for 8 of the cabins. And then they took 257,000 out of the Social Services Relief Fund, which paid for the other 2, plus startup costs and everything else. So that $100,000 that was donated, is that going to give you more cabins?
Yeah, I have to say that was a bit confusing for us, because the original funding for the city of Kingston and the obligation that we're under from our contract to explain to people is that $150,000 of this, or of the budget, came from a private donation, and then $257,000 came from the Social Services Relief Fund from the province, and that fully funded the project. So I mean, maybe Bridget can answer this, but it was a bit confusing to us about what was happening. Our budget didn't change. Our number of cabins didn't change. My understanding is that the city of Kingston received the funding, the $100,000, and it's going to be used for other initiatives, or to maybe if we have surprise costs that we're not in. We're actually anticipating being well under budget. But if there's surprise costs, maybe they'll use it for that. But Bridget, maybe do you know? It was a surprise to us too. We read the headlines just like everybody else.
No, I don't know. Happy to ask, but I suspect it's a pilot. We are probably going to put it in the pool and to be ready for the next project, right? So we have more costs, as we know. We need to, if it is successful, which it certainly seems to be, we'll need lots more funds to expand it.
Yeah, that's, I think, you know, when we looked at it, we thought, well, maybe it's for future use if it becomes a permanent location. Other questions?
I am going to head off. I just want to thank John for showing us everything and answering our questions, and good luck with that interview that you had. Hopefully you get the job.
I'm hoping so too. I hope one of them sees me.
You will.
One of the job opportunities he had is somebody saw the newspaper article in another city, and it was a woman, and she kind of poked her husband, who owns a mining company in the Yukon, and said, you know, maybe they saw John and knew he was a heavy equipment operator.
I gotta
So-
just have that break. I gotta have that break in life.
So he called us today, and we connected him with John to discuss opportunities, which is pretty nice.
Sounds like that break's on the way.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I just like to say I find there's a lot of energy around this project, and it seems very optimistic. And I wish I hope you get that job, John. And thank you for filling us in about details that I really knew very little about.
If you want,
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome to come down, say hello.
I will. Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you both, Crystal and John. That was great. Good luck.
Thank you. What's up?
Yes.
So unless there's other questions, I guess, Liz, do you have other questions? No? Okay.
Nope.
So
Oh, that was excellent. That was
Thanks, Karen.
really, really good. Thank you a
you.
million.
Dave,
Okay.
I have something
Take
more
care.
to fix. Take
Yeah,
care.
thank you very much. Bye.
we just say that we do have these Ask Me Anything sessions scheduled for ourselves every Thursday evening at 7, but it's by request. So if people would like to, unless we thought we haven't received any requests yet, so we'll just do one and see how it goes. So if we know we're going to have an audience or people are interested in us, we'll run another of these sessions in another week.
Great. No, things
Great.
seem very peaceful.
Yes,
Really good.
glad things are going so well.
Me too.
We all are.
I
Oh, thank you.
I
Bye-bye.
expected some hiccups for sure, but it's worked out really well.
Thank you.
Dave, do you mind handing the hosting back to me? I can't hear you, Dave.
It could be because I was muted.
Do you mind handing hosting back?
But how do I do that? Where do I do it? I don't.
So find my name on the side where our Livable Solutions. And then
Oh, you mean under participant?
under participants. And then when you
Okay.
hover over it, you'll see a more button
Yep.
like that. And then you should, oh, I'll just take it back from you. Never mind. I didn't know I
Yeah.
could claim it back.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought you had to give it back to me. Wow, that's more power than I thought I had. All right, just so I can capture the recording.
yeah, that's fine.
All
I
right.
mean, I could have always stopped it too. So I'll come in for more training tomorrow morning,
Sure.
7:30.
I'll be here. This is the start.
Okay.
My shift starts at 10.
Oh, 10 tonight, you mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm always here before then.
Okay, well, I'll plan to pop over between 7 and 7:30.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, good. But I'll do my food training after I hang up now. Okay, thank you, Crystal.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.